I absolutely love custom statues. Case in point, look behind me. Now recently, I did a video on the top 10 reasons you should not buy custom statues. And as promised in that video, I told you I was going to do another video talking about all the great things of custom statues. So let's do that. So the great things about custom statues are, so with the custom statue, this is awkward. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we're giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey guys, welcome to the Extreme channel. Today we're talking all about custom statues. Now if you're new to the channel, a custom statue is a private unlicensed commission. Typically they make less than 100. Sometimes they'll make one or two. Most of the time it's about 50 or so. And if you want to check some of those out, look at this playlist right here. I have reviews of hundreds of different custom statues. Now with these statues, I said they're unlicensed, so whoever owns the rights to that entity, whether it's Disney or Warner Brothers or Universal, they have not signed off or approved this. And in the intro, I talked about a video I had previously done talking about all the bad reasons to buy custom statues, which makes me look pretty hypocritical considering I buy so many different custom statues. So today we're going to look at the good things about custom statues and why, despite all those reasons in the previous video, I still buy them. But while I was kind of joking in the intro of this video, there aren't as many pros as there are cons to buying custom statues. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And unfortunately, I could not come up with a top 10 list. The most I could get was 5. But this explains why there isn't such a big market for custom statues. Another thing I said in that previous video was a lot of people won't touch these with a 10-foot pole. Where did that even come from anyway? A 10-foot pole would be pretty hard to navigate. So let's dive into the 5 reasons you should buy custom statues and what make custom statues so great. Starting off with number 5. Now number 5 is a little bit of a stretch because it isn't always the case. But sometimes on a custom statue, you can get a lot more detail than you can on a licensed piece for a few different reasons. Number 1 is they're making a much smaller run. So instead of making 1,000 or 5,000 of these statues, because they're only making 40 or 50, they're going to spend more time perfecting them. Also, and this greatly depends on whoever's commissioning that statue, there may be a lot more oversight, not only on the entire process from A to Z, but on those 40 or 50 units. I know many commissioners will have the factory send them a sample production piece just to verify that it is higher quality. Now, while certainly some licensed companies probably do that as well, I would much rather take my odds saying 1 sample out of 50 is good than 1 out of 5,000 is good. So while there are some exceptions, you do have a better chance of getting more detail if you have a solid commissioner behind the project. Where with a licensed piece, that isn't always the case. Because case in point, many times the production pieces for license are way off the prototype. And again, I do acknowledge that happens with customs as well. But if I only put 4 top reasons on why you should buy custom statues, it doesn't have the same ring to it as 5. But number 4 is what I just kind of mentioned, is the rarity of custom statues. Because they're not making an edition size of 500 or 5,000, there's only 50 to 100 pieces of that particular piece in the world. Most of the ones behind me are numbering under 60 or 70. A few of the ones I have, they're 1 out of 1. And actually, as I look back at the display behind me, I think we have 2 pieces on the top that are not custom. And on that middle row, we have 2 that are not custom. Maybe 3 if you count Magneto way over there. And then XM Dark Phoenix. So at the most, you're going to have 40 or 50 people that have a display like this behind me. And probably even less who have all these different statues together. So I can truly say that my display is extremely unique, one of a kind. So the number 4 reason you should buy custom statues is because of the extreme rarity that you will not get with licensed pieces. Number 3 is artistic freedom. What I mean by that is when you are getting a statue approved by a licensed company, it is very painstaking, and they will approve everything from the big conceptual stuff down to the nitty-gritty details, including the shade of paint that you are using. If you're doing a traditional Wolverine in a yellow suit, they have to approve of the shade of yellow. While you have a little bit of artistic freedom, you are subject to the people who hold the rights to that character. Where with a custom statue, You can go whatever you want. That includes even crossing genres. For example, I have this custom Venomized Batman on order. This would never happen in the license world because Marvel and DC are owned by different people in totally different universes. And this goes with concepts, particularly paints. You can do a lot of different variants with characters you traditionally wouldn't see a licensed company do. And so you have this artistic freedom where you have absolutely no shackles on you, and that actually creates some pretty amazing pieces. Which ties into number 2 a little bit. The number 2 reason to buy custom statues is you get characters you would never get from a licensed company. For example, this Riddler right here that I have, this 1/4 scale Riddler, to my knowledge, was one of the first Riddlers out on the market, and there's only a few that have been made since then, but it's an amazing statue nonetheless, but it's also of a quintessential Batman character that no licensed company has actually done. Right behind me, it's a little bit dark, but you can see a Banshee right back there. That's not done very often, but again, another quintessential X-Men character. Mr. Sinister and Madeline Pryor, another great example of very few statues done of Sinister, and none of Madeline Pryor to my knowledge. So you get to see all these characters that we love in the comic books, but for whatever reason, a licensed company hasn't made them. So that is the second reason to buy custom statues, is you will get characters that licensed companies just choose not to do. Now, the number 1 reason is why I am filming with my X-Men display behind me. You get elaborate concepts you would never see. Now, there's a few different things going on with this. So, for example, you look at the Iceman and the Cyclops and the Rogue right there. And there's a few things fueling these. One is these are very dynamic pieces that are incredibly difficult to do, and they just can't be done on a mass scale by a licensed company. There are so many physical barriers that it makes it almost prohibitive. Where if you make them in a smaller run of 50 and 10% are bad, you only got to work on replacing or fixing 5 statues. But if 10% of 5,000 statues don't work out because they're so difficult to make, then you have a huge problem. So they'll go for more elaborate concepts simply because you can with a smaller run. Second ties back into a lot of the reasons I previously spoke of. You get lesser known characters and you have artistic freedom to really do some incredibly imaginable stuff that for whatever reason you can't do in the licensed world, whether companies don't want to attempt it or whether they're afraid the licensing entity won't sign off on it. But you truly get these awesome, amazing, elaborate pieces. While licensed companies are getting better at this, in my opinion, for the most part, they will never compare to custom pieces out there. So that is the number 1 reason I buy custom statues. Concept is the biggest deal to me, and you can do such an amazing, elaborate concept you will not see with licensed pieces. So I wish I had more reasons, especially to justify the hundreds of custom statues I own, but I do not. And just like a licensed company, some custom statues are very good and some are very poor. There are such a large number of factors that apply to both licensed and custom companies on whether the end product will be good or not. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of guidance if you are trying to get into the custom market, or if you want to stay in or completely get out. But let me know why you do or don't buy custom statues in the comments below. And the reason I asked you to comment is you could actually win a statue. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. Again, if you like stuff like this, make sure to hit that picture of me, subscribe to the channel, drop me a like on the way out. It really helps the channel, and check out some of my social media sites. Till next time, here's some other videos. Take care.